What's up, everybody? This is Henry Fleischer here from the Cannabis Dispatch, also the CBD Business Networking Group on Facebook, and I have a very special guest today. I have Dik Rayful of Dik Whip. So, Dik, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. I live in Lakewood, Ohio, right outside Cleveland, about actually 15 minutes west of Cleveland, and 37 years old. I was born on the east side of Cleveland. I've been here primarily my whole life. I was in Florida for a little bit of time. Started Dik Whip about 14 months ago. Anyways, I mean, as far as me, like about myself, just a kind of a classic underdog story, you know, troubled youth, got into a lot of trouble growing up. Made a lot of mistakes. Luckily, when I got to my 30s, I started growing up a little bit. And about 14, 15 months ago, I accidentally started a small business company that wasn't intended to be a business, you know, whatsoever. And it's kind of grown into what it's grown into now. It's gotten kind of wild these past few weeks. So this interview process, you kind of caught me at a good time. Like a couple months ago, I wouldn't have had entirely too much to to talk about. You know what I mean? Because I was just kind of at a plateau. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, just me and my dog. You know, we're kind of a small little underdog company as of now, but things are growing, so that's good.
Oh, awesome. What was it that got you started on Dik Whip too in the first place?
So, and just so everyone knows, the reasoning for the name, my name is Dik, well, without the C, and I used whip because it kind of rhymes a little bit. It's easy on the mouth, easy on the tongue, and when I started, I was using infusing machines that whip all the ingredients together. I personally got interested in CBD. I'd say like 3 years ago. I've been sober for about 41 months now, and CBD really piqued my interest. You know what I mean, as far as helping with me personally, anxiety. You know, lots of gym time, helping with recovery. After finding out about the benefits, I was like, oh man, this stuff, you know, I'd always heard about how great CBD is for you, but never really looked into it. And being an avid, you know, weed smoker when I was a teenager, you know what I mean? I wasn't unfamiliar with, you know, hemp and marijuana. Mm-hmm. So I started off, you know, getting some tinctures, taking oil every day. And eventually I got introduced to CBD flower, I would say about 2 years ago. This is my dog, Jack. Sorry, he's going to be in the picture, everybody. And it was just personal preference of mine to smoke it. And I eventually just got the idea of buying like a large amount, you know, save some money. I was figuring out, you know, easier to buy from family-owned farms, better price, kind of a better quality, kind of cutting out the middleman. And the first larger quantity of flour I bought, I decided I was going to buy a magical butter machine, which is an infusing machine, and try making some, like, you know, tinctures, hemp seed based oils and coconut oil based topicals and stuff for myself and possibly some friends. But that was like, yeah, that's my introduction to CBD. You know, it's just been a wonderful tool for me. And then kind of from there started wanting to make my own things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was the toughest thing you went through when you first started?
So the information is out there for anyone that's trying to do most things in life, especially in the day age that we live in now with, you know, World Wide Web. It's just a matter of knowing where to look, knowing who to talk to, and kind of learning how to apply those things and learning what information is actually accurate. Mm-hmm. My biggest struggles Well, at first, since for me in the beginning, it wasn't about making a brand or a business or making money. It was just about trying to make things for myself to better my life, and kind of be a little bit easier monetarily, cost effective. Um, I I ran into a lot of problems as far as kind of simple things like decarving temperature and times. I was getting a lot of mixed information about that, and what I really struggled with my first several batches was trying to figure out milligrams and percentages and volume and weights of things to figure out what my end product was going to be. Like for a while there, I couldn't gather, I couldn't figure out like, okay, I have kind of an idea that this is like a 500 milligram tincture maybe at the end of the day, but who knows? And I had to, and this is when I'm still making it for myself, so I wasn't terribly worried about it. But I finally got a hold of someone that told me about a little there's a website where you can just kind of plug in the information, and it kind of tells you the end game of what your product is going to be, like, how many milligrams per ounces of CBD you're going to have. So that was it was kind of funny. I was just like, oh man, this is very, very simple. And I kind of took too long to jump on finding that information, but it's a lot of trial and error for me. You know what I mean? I really had no idea what I was doing. Luckily I've been a bartender for many years, so that kind of helped with ingredients and getting things together. But that was a struggle for me, getting just the basic recipes down for the things that I wanted to make, and making sure that at least my end result was close to what I wanted my end result to be. It wasn't just guessing. And of course, once I started having people inquire about buying these things from me, like friends and family, I had to make sure that I was being a little bit more precise with things, because eventually, within a few months, I was like, oh, okay, there's some money to be made here. So I put my dog's face on a logo and came up with a funny little interesting brand name, and was kind of just doing at first a little underground CBD business from my kitchen. You know what I mean? There was really nothing too legitimate about it, but that has since progressed and transitioned into to shelf ready, lab tested products. So it's been these past 4 or 5 months, Dik Whip has now become, I'm on a few shelves on the retail side. Things have just kind of started to blow up. I'm getting wholesale orders, investors now as of 2 weeks ago and this week. So it's just been a very interesting ride for us, especially considering like there's no employees. You know what I mean? It's just me and my dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Is there anything you'd do differently if you had to start over from day one?
Yeah, there's probably many things. I think I probably wouldn't have waited so long to start having my products made like they are now, as far as being tested and professional labeling and manufactured in third-party lab testing. I was so worried about not being able to have my hands on everything, because I wanted it to be very personable, and I wanted to be kind of have my hand in the whole process, because that's kind of what the business had become to me. That was what I was proud of. Like every interaction with my customers was between me and them. It was very personable. The products that I was selling to them were made by me. You know what I mean? At that point, these were not products that I could take into a store and be like, hey, do you want to carry these? Because it just wasn't to that. It wasn't to that point yet. I was so worried about it not being like that I kind of I had people approaching me like, hey, you need to you need to get this on a more legitimate level so you can, expand. And I waited several months before I kind of took that idea on. And I think that was, in hindsight, that was probably my biggest mistake. Although I had reasons for it. I'm sure there's many, many more things that I would have done differently. You know what I mean? But that's probably the biggest thing I would have kind of done differently given the opportunity.
Got it. What would you say is the toughest part too about having a business in 2021?
Well, I mean, this is the CBD industry, Delta 8, Delta 10, anything similar along those lines. It's, it's super saturated. You know what I mean? And not only is it saturated, but I feel like, if you're not coming into it with a decent amount of money already on your side, whether it's from investors or loans, it's very difficult. It's even more difficult. So I feel like trying to expand in a business that's already extremely saturated with both amazing and horrible products and brands, you're kind of there's a big disadvantage. This is my personal experience, and kind of only having the money you're currently generating on your own as the only kind of way to expand is also difficult. So I would say that it being a saturated business in general kind of makes it pretty difficult. You know what I mean? It's a very hard thing to, I can imagine, for people to just be like, hey, I wanted to start a CBD brand. I mean, if you're out there and you're looking, it's, you've had businesses that have been established for many years now, you know what I mean? And if you're trying to just jump into it, especially 2021, you either have to be extremely lucky, in my case, 90% of this has all been luck, or have some solid people on your side that know what they're doing already and have a decent amount of money to already put into the process that comes with this.
Cool. And another thing I got too, like if a customer was to choose between your business and 3 others just like yours, why do you suggest they give you a try first?
Well, I would say for the most part, if you're comparing my brand with 3 other brands and they're all, let's just assume that they're all lab tested and what's actually in your products, because that's big. For the most part, there's not a whole lot of difference in a lot of these products. There is and there isn't, but I mean, for the most part, especially you're talking CBD oils and tinctures and stuff, the product itself is not going to vary too much from the next company, depending on flavor and stuff like that. But the primary ingredients, being, whatever oil you're using plus the CBD extract is going to be at the base pretty similar. So I think what sets my products aside from other brands is going to be my backstory and where I've came from, my experience and where I'm at now, which it's not so different than a lot of people's, but it's very it's a super underdog story. 4 years ago I was homeless. I was using heroin every day, and I was living in a stolen car in random Walmarts across Ohio. I think that, and just the name of the brand itself is awfully intriguing, and I have a very awesome dog's face on the brand, on the logo. So those 3 things combined, I think that's how I'm going to try and steal the hearts of my customers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what's the number one way you currently bring in new customers?
Word of mouth. I have been fortunate enough that my products have spoken for themselves, and I rely on my happy customers to spread that word, to share their experience, to recommend my products to their friends and families whenever people are talking about it. And I try to make sure, because I haven't done any advertising aside from my own social media platforms. My website is just of this week going to be live, so I haven't even had a website. I've used I've relied a lot on my customers to help me, spread spread my products and their experiences with my products, so people aren't just, you know, going on a website and looking for things. They find out about my products through people who have already taken it. And I think that's the most organic way a business can grow. You know what I mean? The word of the already satisfied customer, not a Google review that can be, or any kind of, you know, review that can be false, but people that have my products in hand that have been happy customers have been my greatest advantage. And also I've got some pretty decent people in my corner who have helped me strengthen at the core my business and help me grow and expand. But my customers have been my greatest strength. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And what role has the internet played in your business as it has become more prevalent?
Everything. If it wasn't for simple things like Facebook, my Facebook group, and my actual personal page, you know, I didn't have a terrible amount of traction with my business pages on Facebook and Instagram. You know, it's very strange how if you're not paying for advertising, which is already hard to do in the CBD world, at least in my experience, the traction is just not quite there. You know, I'm not trying to go out there and pay companies to get me followers and stuff like that. So those things helped, but they weren't amazing. But my group page on Facebook, my personal page, I have, if it wasn't for people posting their experience and their pictures with my products and their pets, you know, I've had a lot of good experiences with people who have pets who take my products. And if it wasn't for all these people posting on the internet, spreading the word, I would have stood no chance. You know, 10 years ago, if I was trying to do something like this, or 20, you know, this would have never worked. My business, I've gotten to where I'm at right now, not only because of my customers, but because of the ability to use social media platforms to share their experience with it.
Got it. So if you had to take a look 6 months to a year into the future, where would you like to see Dik Whip?
Well, you know, retail wise, I've been killing it. I've got a tea and smoothie food truck in the works right now that's going to be selling my products on it as well. So some mobile CBD actions in the works right now. So, you know, I also plan on, I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on with vendoring at festivals and stuff like that. And, you know, I just had a very generous investment from actually a customer. So as of this week, you know, if you would have asked me a week ago, I would have told you, you know, I just want to get on more shelves. I want to make more wholesale orders. I want to be, you know, I want to get that exposure. So I'm not, although I ship retail to, you know, probably 47 out of the 50 states so far in the past year. I had only up until this week been on one shelf in Vegas, wholesale. But as of today, actually, the call I was on right before I got to you was another wholesale order. And I actually went up today inside of a gas or convenient on the east side of Cleveland, a convenience store. So as of today, my wholesale angle of things has grown threefold. And with this current investment, everything I have in the works is about to not just be in the works, it's about to be going. It's about to be green light, lit, going. So I would like to see, you know, just a crazy amount of growth. That's what it feels like. That's where I feel like it's going. This has been the most exciting week for this brand, for Jack and I. You know, I would love to attend more conventions. I would love to, I have more products coming this week. So 6 months to a year, you know, a fully functional website with payment processing, more shelves with Dik Whip on it. And who knows, maybe I'll even hire an employee if it gets too overwhelming.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. Is that something in the works too, to like hire out for staff?
You know, it's looking like that's going to have to be a thing. I've been able to take care of everything on my own. There's really only been one day where I was a little overwhelmed with shipments and stuff. And there really hasn't been any need for me to employ someone to help me with things. But now that I'm about to have, other people's money involved and what seems to be an influx of orders and exposure, I just feel like it's inevitable that I'm going to need somebody to help me with things so I can delegate and be able to focus on, cold calls and approaching businesses across the state and stuff like that. And that way I won't have to worry about some of the more minimal things that are still time consuming,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what is like as your business grows too, what do you want your ideal day-to-day responsibilities to look like?
I would love to, I would love to just start doing some more interacting physically with business owners, vape shop owners, head shop owners, other CBD brands. I would like to be focusing on that kind of stuff, going to conventions and networking with people, and not having to worry about, shipping and orders and stuff like that, checking my phone 50 times a day to see, to answer questions and to take orders. That's been a big part of it. And I love doing that stuff because I like knowing my customers. But with growth comes more responsibility. And if I spread myself too thin, it's going to be a problem. So if I can focus on, even more growth and the things that I've been focusing on now, if I can hand those things over to somebody, that would be amazing. And I could focus on, gaining more information and knowledge about what I'm doing in the business world and meeting new people, making friends, hopefully, and networking and, hey, what's the next move? Like, what should I be doing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, another thing too, like which product is your best seller?
Probably the Cool Breeze roll-on. It's icy hot roll-on muscle bomb, 750 milligrams, full spectrum. All amazing. Like most of it's super organic and leaves and flowers and naturey stuff. But this for sure, absolutely. Like literally, I just got off the phone with somebody who just put in a sale for a purchase for 25 units in Florida. And just day to day, as far as my premium line, like the roll on is definitely my biggest seller.
Oh,
and gets the most compliments.
Oh, awesome. You do sell consumables too, correct? Like oils and everything?
So yeah, I've got 1,000 milligram hemp seed oil based tinctures in several flavors. I've got Delta 8 carts in a couple of flavors, and I have some terpene infused and broad spectrum tinctures being worked on as of this moment. And I have a I have this heat cream, this heat cell cream that has capsaicin or chili powder that I'm super excited about, that will be that's being worked on right now as well and should be ready the next few weeks. I usually have Delta 8 gummies. Running into a problem with heat and shipping with those because they're gelatin based, but the next several weeks I'll have pectin based ones that melt at a much higher temperature. So it'll be easier with shipping and shops to hold them. So yeah, got all those things.
Yeah, well, both on the legislative piece with Delta 8 too, has that posed any challenges for you?
So I have not been on such a grand scale that I've worried about that. Ohio's still good. I believe we're at 14 states now that it's been banned. I think that's correct.
Like that.
Yeah. The biggest problem for me is going to be the the shipping, the USPS ban, which hasn't gone into effect yet. It was supposed to last month, but they postponed it, which was great news for me. Is 85% of my my business is through shipping.
Mhm.
So when that does happen, yeah, it's gonna, I'm going to have to adapt one way or the other. But currently it has not been a problem. It's just told me that there's going to be a problem very soon. Ohio's a weird state. It's a red state. It's conservative. Aside from, Cleveland, Lakewood, Columbus areas, it's a predominantly red state. So it's very interesting to me that Ohio has not banned it yet. You know what I mean? So Ohio confuses me with all these, what they're okay with and what they're not.
Oh yeah. What's one product in like the CBD space you would like to see that's not really out there?
Huh. I saw a post in the group, something about, it was like a CBD cereal or something like that, or CBD chips, which I hadn't heard of. I'll tell you what, though, personally, I feel like fungus mushrooms, both psychedelic and not, is going to be the next big thing. I feel like it's a sleeping giant. I've got some CBD tinctures that are infused with a whole plethora of non-psychedelic mushrooms, but like mushrooms like changa, lion's mane, turkey neck, cordyceps. I'm trying to find a good way, but they're very bitter, very not pleasant tasting. So I'm trying to orchestrate a product that has the benefits of mushrooms and the CBD as well. So something mushroom related, fungus related. I feel like that would be amazing. I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure there's people doing it right now, but it's not super out there yet.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting too to see where that development takes place as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is there any advice you would give to somebody who's thinking about entering the CBD space?
Yeah, I mean, give yourself time. There's going to be days, weeks, and months in the beginning. If you do decide to take this journey where it's probably going to seem like it's not working in your favor, and maybe it won't. But I say give yourself at least a year to see if it's not going to move for you, and do everything you can in that year on your end to try to make it work. And I would suggest that don't do what I did. Make sure you have some money backing your project before you try to just push things out there. I feel like the benefit of having money on your side, or at least somebody who's willing to put that money up for you, is going to be very beneficial. And just make sure you can trust the people you're going to be working with, whether it's manufacturing, labeling. There's a million companies out there who are willing to help you, but they're not all equal. That's for sure. And concentrate on your customer service. The customer is the most important person. So they're not all going to be pleasant, but do your best to be respectful and be honest with them as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, so that's some great piece of advice right there. And how can somebody get hold of your social media accounts?
So my social media accounts, there's a Dik Whip group page. You would have to search for it and then request to be in it, answer a few questions, basically stating that you're not going to be an asshole, and I'll approve your entry. And Dik Whip, DIKWHIP, is both on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to request me on Facebook, Dik Rafael, DIKRAFAIL, and DikWhip.com, DIKWHIP.com will be live, I believe, by the end of this week, actually, as well. It won't be up for payment processing just yet. But as far as an origin story, some backstory, and some products and stuff like that, some cool pictures of my dog, there will at least be that to take a gander at if you'd like to as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. So yeah, it was great having you on, and you're always welcome to be back on for future interviews as well.
Henry, I appreciate your time, and this is my first interview, so it was very cool. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you again.
Okay, man. Well, you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
All right.